might be your favorite comedian, and he is an all-time great entertainer here in Miami, Florida. Manny Garavito, thank you for coming on. I mean,
thanks for having me on
PLUGtalk. First thing, shout out Casa Tiki, great show tonight.
Wednesday nights, Casa Tiki.
Every Wednesday. This guy hosts them. This guy puts them together. You also do multiple, right? So this isn't just you got another one rolling right now tonight. Right?
Yeah, there's one happening in North Miami at Focal Brewery, which is a little show happening in the back where they do the beers.
Okay.
And it's just as nice. It's more of a hidden. Sergio Mendez kind of runs it well.
Yeah.
He does local showcase, and a lot of people come out to that because craft beers in Miami and comedy just go hand in hand.
They do, man. They do. And getting people drunk makes them think everyone's a little bit funny,
you need
right?
that for comedy.
It's a little bit.
2-drink minimum.
What is it about? What is it about Miami that that's not like a normal setting per se for like these bars and whatnot. Isn't it normally is it clubs? Is it improv? Is that the scene everywhere, or is Miami unique for doing it this way, like kind of at these bars where you said like drinking craft beer, doing the thing, or is it just a section of it and it's also got its its improv clubs and its nightclubs and whatnot?
Well, when I started doing comedy, Miami didn't have much of a comedy scene,
right?
So I would have to drive hours to perform and kind of like practice my 5 minutes in places like Boca.
Yeah.
Or Stewart or Jupiter, Florida. And so I told myself, I'm going to grab a website, use my FIU marketing degree, and I bought MiamiComedy.com for $1,700.
Yes, sir.
And
nice.
then I just started
So you bought
learning.
a website is kind of how all this kind of
Somebody was squatting it.
Okay.
And then I started growing the community online.
Yeah.
And so eventually, after years of doing broken down shows, we started getting a reputation with our community. And so the business model was born where every show we do is unique in its own way.
Sweet.
So you got places like in Calle Ocho, which is a tiki joint.
Yeah.
You got places like the brewery happening up north, places like Red Bar and Brickell, a karaoke bar on Tuesdays, and then on Thursdays we have another brewery in Doral.
Wow.
On Sundays, a cocktail lounge in downtown Miami.
And this is within, how many years you been at this?
So officially, I've been doing comedy 12 years in September,
cool.
But MiamiComedy.com was born in 2014.
14?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's steady growth, man. That's steady growth for, and we'll come back to this. Let's get into how this all started. So you're from New York, right?
Well, Long Island.
Long Island. All right, and was that always was comedy, how'd you get into comedy? Kind of like, where did this idea come up that this is what you were going to do? Did you have other things that you were being told to do or, should be doing?
I definitely shouldn't have been in corporate for so long.
Okay. Corporate doing what?
I was selling loans. I was selling business line of credits and home equity loans.
Gotcha.
I was in banking for 10 years from the age of 18 to 28. I quit my job in 2013.
Nice.
I was a starving artist up until 2018.
Nice.
And then things started working in my favor, and then 2020 came around, but 2021 is our best year yet.
2018, man. So 5 years you were. I mean, I'm sure you still feel that you never lose that hustle, that get after it mentality. But 5 years, dude, consistently, were you making a lot of constant changes? Or did you always have this vision and you were more just like, this is going to work out, just need to keep doing what I'm doing? Or was there a time where you were like, God, I really need to change what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, so that's part of the loneliness of being a starving artist, where you have this vision and you trying to pursue that. A lot of people don't see it right away until you actually start making some progress. And then now things are kind of a little more easy to do because the branding is there, and the website is there, and all the shows are there, so the rep is there. But it wasn't easy. It takes a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, and I'm sure. You're absolutely killing it. We first came, just for some background, last year. Me and Jared wanting to get down in Miami. No even real idea of what we were gonna do show wise. Just we wanted to be down here around cool stuff. And I'm like, dude, we like comedy. Typed in Google why is there no why have I not heard of comedy shows in Miami?
Right.
And Miami comedy is the first thing that pulls up. I'm like, this is dope as fuck. It's got there's 17,000 people that really do this stuff. And so then we came down and it was something that it's really fun to do for at least I'd say my demographic midweek. We're not going and blowing money at warehouses that play music that we listen to every day. We're doing that Friday through Sunday, but Monday through Thursday, you want to get fucked up and have some fun, It was fun.
What
dude.
better way to pregame before you
Oh
party
my
than
God,
to go to a
dude.
comedy show at 8 o'clock? So when you leave at 9:30,
dude, it really does. And the guys are funny. I like. Is it? How do you decide kind of who is involved in these shows?
well, the comedians we work with, they want to get good, so they go up on stage, and we call them workout rooms, where we provide the audience, and then they go up on stage, they work on their act, they grow their audience through our audience, and then we reinvest into, once the show gets good.
Nice touch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then we reinvest into building up another night. We're currently at 8 nights a week. Trying to go for 14 now. Like the goal was seven nights. Now we're gonna go for 14.
And what's like a typical day look like for somebody managing 14 shows a week?
Well, I mean, once we get there, I could assume that it's a lot of naps, and then waking up and writing something to convince a group of party heads to come out to a show.
Facts. No, it's good, and I think it's growing now. Let's get into. I saw the doc. I watched the trailer of the documentary that you put out. It was like the first thing that come up, and I saw it. I was scrolling through your Instagram. I was like, this is fire. What was the idea behind that? Was it to promote something like this? Was it truly like, this is how far I've came in comedy, and you really want to just kind of reflect on that, and you saw it going the way it goes? Because it was how many years ago?
So Respect the Light was filmed in 2018.
2018, so 3 years ago. Yeah, you were. I mean, right? You said that 1 year. I mean, was
they came right on time. I mean, those guys over at the Ledge Media, they were a godsend. I mean, GJ and his team, they were so. They were just so critical in their eyes in terms of finding artistic endeavors that are worth filming, because they weren't sure, from what I remember, they weren't sure what to film while they were in Miami, but they wanted to do some artistic endeavor. And so our friend Seabass, which is our mutual friend, he's a comedian in Miami as well, he knew GJ from a previous life. So we just got connected. I told him our story, and then he followed what we did with Miami Comedy. But then they also went out and explored elsewhere, and they brought in someone like Rudy Wilson.
Cool.
And they did a fantastic job. Like, I was not expecting that turnout.
Dude, the trailer was really good.
And you should see the equipment they used to make. It looks like they had like a red camera, or like those high-end.
Yeah.
These guys were using like a Sony A-series.
I mean, not to leak it, but I watched the behind the scenes. They put it out there. I had to see they put the behind the scenes. I was dope. I like how you guys did that. I'm not
really
gonna give
smart,
it away,
man.
but
they're extremely creative.
Amazing.
People.
Like it was cool to see what it looked like in the trailer, and then see like this is what these guys were doing, like working with, and this is what they were going after to go get.
Yeah. If anyone out there is listening to this episode, go on Amazon Prime, look up Respect the Light, and leave us a review.
For sure.
Because it's so well made, but we don't have a lot of reviews on it yet.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get it out. I think it's something people should watch. It's like $10 for the whole season, dude. You gotta hop on that.
Right.
I mean, go. Now, what about coming up in comedy? Mentors you look to, celebrity-wise, like in the comedy field? Was it mainly local inspiration that you were kind of pulling from?
The local inspiration is still there.
Yeah.
I mean, to see comedians getting good.
Yeah.
I mean, this generation, I've seen a couple generations come and go through the 12 years, but this generation is the one that really means it, and they don't leave. Like, they work, and they want to work, and they want to grow. So this is exciting to see. So that's an inspiration.
Yeah.
But when I was young and Blockbuster was still around, I used to rent Eddie Murphy, Rod, Delirious. I used to rent Richard Pryor's. I used to rent George Carlin. And I just like stand-up comedy. Like, I would stay up late and watch Comic View on BET with some old friends.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy the art form. But then in my early 20s is when I got into the rebellious part of it.
Right.
Like the Bill Hicks and the New York comedy scene. And I just started following it up until the point where I saw someone like an unknown Bill Burr at the time, or an unknown Patrice O'Neal.
So you saw an unknown Bill Burr?
What
was that experience like?
It was awesome, man.
Set the scene, man, because I really like Bill Burr.
He's one of my favorites for sure. Yeah. So I saw him. Before I saw him, I followed him because he used to have some really good stuff online, and I remember that there was an online streaming platform where I heard him in some club somewhere in New York. But then I bought tickets. I think it was in 2006 or in 2007. I went to the Miami Improv when it was in Coconut Grove, and I saw an unknown Bill Burr headlining in front of 12 people on a Wednesday night, and he crushed it. And that's when I knew, like, slowly this guy was helping me fall in love with comedy, because just the way you would speak your mind and be so entertaining while doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it tonight. You go up on stage, you just go on a tangent, and you just have a blast.
We need more of it. We need more of it. You need that influence, dude. If you're like, it's been a good thing for me to get out and go experience that finally, because I used to see it in public all the time. You know, people were just relaxed, whatever, and everyone was so uptight. Now, like, I go to a comedy club to get that again.
To get it out of your chest.
There are these people that are like, this is okay, this is funny. Like, nobody's out to get anyone. Like, we're just trying to have a good time, man. And
the same way we have services like a library or a hospital, it's the same way comedy should be seen as a service to society, where it's like, we can talk about taboo issues in a funny way to get it out of the way.
And honestly, dude, I think it's a hell of a time to be happening now with social media, because now you see more of that negativity on social media. You see more of that. You crave it even more. Like, you ran this in 2014, but I'm looking at it now. I'm like, this plan in 2014 compared to this plan now is like very exciting, and it's very like, I think the social media aspect and the people that can, you know, all these guys can get reach now. And I'm sure that wasn't, I mean, you have TikTok in 2014, right? Not everyone could take a 30-second video and get noticed by someone.
TikTok was around in 2014?
No, it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Compared to now, like 2014 to now, what you got going here with,
is just speeding up.
With the exposure you can get your guys.
And so like, much information is the reason why we're all hating each other, because it's happening so fast.
Exactly. So now that's why you want that positive
comedy just breaks all that.
But now you travel around to do your own shows, right? I saw you were in New York and Philadelphia, right?
Yeah. Well, we did the Colombian comedy tour with my good friend Oscar Collazos, and he's also an entrepreneur in comedy, which I admire. So he put together this tour, and I got to see some comedy clubs with some great turnouts to see us. And it's a great experience to see comedy outside of Miami.
Favorite city you performed in?
Miami. Yeah, Miami is still my favorite.
Miami's always
because I mean the crowds in Miami, they're very. They don't come out for the comedy. They kind of come out to judge you, and then so you gotta break that ice first.
Yeah.
And so it makes you a better comic to entertain this kind of crowd.
That's an awesome point you bring up, because even as college students going out in the scene, we feel that when we're outside, people we talk to outside our group, they judge you before they let you talk to you. Like, even at our age, bro, there's not a lot of like.
It's a Miami thing, man.
It is a Miami thing. You're exactly right.
We're so Neanderthal in Miami because of all the drugs, the parties, and the women. That like our mind is set in this whole fight or flight survival mode, where it's like go hard or go home, right?
Yeah.
And so like when we do stand-up comedy, it's like, what is this intellectual, creative shit?
Yeah, like
right.
These people are just drinking a few drinks, like not getting fucked up. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
So it's interesting to do it in Miami. I mean, if you get good in Miami, I think you can get good elsewhere.
That's good insight for anyone that's looking to grow, because I even now that we've launched this and I've grown my network just through business and other ventures, I mean, they see that we're interviewing entertainers and they always reach out, hey man, like how'd you get in touch, yada, yada, yada. Like, and I tell them, dude, Miami's a great place to start for anything, entrepreneurship wise, comedy wise, artistic wise. You have Florida as like the governing body, but then Miami still gets to kind of do its own thing.
You know how they say Florida man? We have Florida people here too, but we just are more fashionable.
And it's
we
a little
party
normal.
a little harder.
I mean, everyone here is a little crazy, so it's like
Miami
it's
is
not
full
that
of crazy.
rare.
A
like,
little.
You don't need to call him a Florida man. Like,
just the fact
he's
that
from Miami and he's
there's a tiki Polynesian cocktail bar in Calle Ocho, which is considered Little Havana.
Yeah.
Right. Like
new spot for us too. Love it out here.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool.
We set up shop anywhere to party.
Yeah. Literally anything.
Like if Miami ever goes underwater, we're gonna start clubbing underwater like it's Atlantis.
Yeah. That's actually awesome. I want to get to. So I went back on YouTube and I saw the first thing that came up is your first show, dude. You type in your name, your first debut. It says Manny Garavito.
Oh
debuts.
yeah, and I killed it.
Miami, you did, bro. It was
shout out to Orlando Leyva for filming that magical moment. So the story behind that one was,
I want to hear this.
I would only do the only way I would get on the improv was doing the bringer shows, which is the new faces where you have to bring 10 people.
Yeah.
And then someone hit me up that night and was like, "Hey man, you want to do a guest spot at the improv on an actual show?" And I'm like, "Sure."
And you were just starting. This is your first show in Miami?
No, that was the first debut. Like I was put on stage in front of an audience that paid for tickets.
Okay, gotcha.
Right,
awesome.
like one of those.
Cool. Yeah.
So I went up, and when an audience pays for tickets, they want to laugh. Like they're invested. There's a stake involved.
There is.
So when I went up on stage and I did my time, and I killed it. I was like, hey, you know what? All those times at an open mic at a bar at 1 a.m. paid off.
Yeah.
And so when I did that show and they filmed it, I was like, you know what? I'm a good comic. It's good to know that. Yeah. That was a very reassuring night.
That's awesome. And you look, I mean, you don't, like, when those things happen, it was very, were you surprised by it a little bit? Were you like, oh, like that went
Yeah, so
really
if you
well,
look at you look at the way I reacted when I got that applause break, it was my first applause break, so
I think I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, you stopped and you're like, breathe.
Yeah, I'm like, take it in, take it in, take it in.
What joke?
So if you look closely on that video, there's an applause break, and it's my first my first time experiencing an applause break, and it's so overwhelming. You could see it in my face, but I kept my cool. But that was a very momentous.
Do you still do the massage joke? I died.
No, I retired that one, but I should bring it back.
You should, just out of, like, that's very funny. You guys are gonna have to come out if you want to see it. But hilarious on that, and I don't remember if that was where the break was, but now let's get into the entrepreneurship side, because obviously that's my background. Social media is like my secondary thing that I do, and I love doing it. It's helped me grow my network, creating things like this. Or do people become comedians? They become comedians and they have no entrepreneurial experience and they go, or are people entrepreneurial and they look at it and they're like, oh, I really like doing comedy and I think I can represent myself well, so let me get into that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the way I see entrepreneurship in comedy, it's not common. It's very rare.
Which is, as an outside, I saw, and that's why I really liked what you were doing with. Yeah. He also runs something called Comedy Networking, which we'll talk about here briefly in a minute.
Cool.
And like I see you had that one thing called it was on YouTube a year ago. Gosh, Wisdom something, or like Wisdom. Laughwise.
Yeah.
Laughwise. And the first thing, entertainment, like educate, like you were
edutainment.
Edutainment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Love that idea.
So that's a very futuristic skill that hasn't really been picked up yet. But when you look at Mr. Rogers, that's like edutainment.
Yeah.
Or Bill Nye the Science Guy, where they entertain not just kids, but like you can entertain adults. And
the teachers will put that on because they liked it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they do a better job at teaching the stuff and not being boring.
100%.
So that's why I did Laughwise. But Laughwise is more like a fun project or like a hobby. Like I read a book, let me make it funny kind of thing.
And just for your own credit, it is cool to see if you do some research, the projects you've been involved in, and still like going after it. And I like the message behind everything that's coming.
Yeah, I do everything with passion.
Big props to you, because I see it. I'm like, no, this is dope. I've been in the same boat, man.
Yeah, stuff like this.
It's cool.
This is
it's so cool.
This is what makes life worth living.
But yeah, come back. You were saying there's a thing with entrepreneurship.
The reason I started Comedy Networking is because I realized that the comedy industry is very stagnant, and then what happened during the pandemic was we kind of got a wake-up call as comedians that we're very dependent on a lot of things in order for us to grow. And since 2016, because that's when I announced on Facebook Live that I wasn't going to do open mics anymore, that I was going to start growing my own audience, I started talking business. But the thing is, there's so many cynical people in comedy that they see someone trying to take a different route and talk about entrepreneurship or business or insights on how to make it, rather than getting an HBO special that a lot of comedians, it doesn't click. Like instead they see, oh, this is a car salesman, or this guy's trying to
you're taking the easy way out,
sell stuff, or this guy's not a real comedian.
Is there too much? You think there's too much glorification on the 1 a.m. open mics and like that? There's a stigma like that. That's always how it has to be.
Not just glorification. There's a romanticism involved where they're in love with the sacrifice or the somber side, the dark side of it, right? Where if you're not living that dark side,
it's not what you're saying.
You don't have to live that way as a comedian. You can make money if you are serious about what you want. Mm-hmm. But instead of, just seeing like, oh, I go up on stage and do my dick jokes, hopefully I'm going to blow up one day. It's like, no, I'm going to grow my own audience. I'm going to grow my creativity, and I'm going to start a business using my sense of humor.
Cool.
This is a very different route, because back then, I mean, if you look at the comedians that are very famous right now, they did 20, 30 years to get to where they're at. What about all the other comedians that have been doing 20, 30 years and you don't even know their names?
That's a good point.
I'm not going to go down that route.
You bring up a good point, dude. I can't even really name a lot of young comedians. I mean, Pete Davidson, I guess. I mean, he's in his 30s.
Right, so I believe
as one of those, compared to other pop stars that
those
pop
kinds
off.
of comedians, they're talented, but they also won some sort of lottery, because there's a lot of talented people out there that never got their shot.
Right, 100%. No, I 100%.
So I'm not going to leave it up to chance. So I started Comedy Networking to help comedians get together, convene, and talk about these things that aren't talked about.
Cool. All right, now for the kind of end of this, I'll pick some questions through here. We kind of want to get the audience plugged in with you. kind of based off everything you said. Some of them will be funny, some of them will be off rip, some of them will come up as we go.
All right.
First one, who's your top 3 comedians? Right, say your top 3 right now and your top 3 ever, or does it not change?
No. Okay. So right now I like Mark Norman. I like Rich Hall, and I like. I'm getting back into Patrice.
Okay.
Patrice O'Neal. Like I started listening to all his Spotify albums.
Yeah.
What a great guy, huh? He was so funny. And then all time is Richard Pryor, Bill Burr, and George Carlin.
Bill Burr, Richard Pryor. Cool. Awesome. Take me through the process for, let's say, when you have a show. Is there anything you do that's like pre-show, like I got to do this to have a successful show?
Well, I think all comedians need to work on creating content every day, like a valuable piece of content. Make your audience laugh, or to inform them about something that you've got going on.
Yeah.
Take photos with the comedians you work with, or with the audience members, or do a podcast like this with a local podcaster.
Yeah.
Every day, if you're just communicating valuable, funny stuff, you get branded as a comedian in your own way, and then then magic starts happening, and then opportunities start presenting themselves.
And for someone looking, I'm glad you said that. What's the best way to approach? You're trying to get your first paid gig. What's the best way to approach a club owner or bar owner, kind of in your experience?
Just let gigs come to you. I think. Well, this isn't my path.
Yeah.
I think going out and finding gigs, you can do something a lot more valuable with your time.
Yeah.
If a gig comes to you, I mean, it's at our level probably like $50, $100 or whatever. But if you instead use your time to grow an email list or to grow subscribers to a podcast, you can just send an email out, and then you make $500 to do a show at a bar that have an empty Tuesday night or something. You know? So I think instead of monetary in terms of thinking like gigs, think about what can I do with my time to grow an audience to monetize.
To grow an audience and then monetize. No, it's great, and I think social media's could be a great assist.
There's so many tools available to us.
No, seriously.
To make this a possibility for anyone, really, in any artistic endeavor.
Now, do you know? Would you say comedy has like a set formula to be successful? Is there a set way you have to do it?
No, there's different ways to do it, obviously, but the way I would say it is. You do 3 things and you can't go wrong. Number 1 is develop your comedy creativity. Like, understand what your identity is, what you're trying to get into, who you are as a comedian. Everyone has a very unique sense of humor, and the ones that know how to communicate it are the ones that get funny in their own way, right?
Yeah.
The second one is grow an audience over time. And then, you can take it to the next level and grow community over time. But growing an audience over time with your sense of humor is number 2. And then the third thing is connect with other comedians that are also entrepreneurial in nature. You don't want the ones that are always like trying to find the next gig.
Right.
You want to get the ones that are really serious about
creating the opportunity.
Growing.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's awesome. And kind of the last thing, man, where I always like to ask the guests, a year from now, let's say a year from now, 5 years from now, what's Manny Garavito up to, man? Where are we gonna be?
Well, my coaching, I started coaching last year during the pandemic.
Sweet.
And I'm realizing that I've become a way better coach than I am a comedian these days.
It's sick. Hey.
And you know what? Good. I'm glad that I'm able to call myself a comedy coach, because I've gotten so many clients just through reputation and the writing that I've been doing online.
Yeah.
I get kids with Asperger's or autism that their parents want to have them get a little more swagger or creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
I get adults that have retired that want to start adding a little more than just dad jokes in their everyday life.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten comedians that won Best Of awards in Miami. I've gotten comedians that have gotten more bookings through coaching.
So some are working with it, and some are
amazing.
That's awesome, and that's got to be rewarding, having people that respect your take on things and your experience, and they're using you to level up in a way because of your experience. I'm sure you had people like that.
Right. Coaching is just helping someone transition. It doesn't necessarily mean they're better than you.
Exactly.
It's just someone that wants to get to the next level. And
then making the effort is very respectable.
And not a lot of people are in business to do that. So to be a coach and be one of the rare ones that do it, it's interesting. It's
all right, man. Turn to the camera. Tell them the best piece of life you've ever learned, and then we will get out of here.
What was the question?
Best piece of advice you've ever gotten. You want to leave that? Okay.
In
advice for the audience. Yeah. There you go.
For the audience?
Yeah.
Laugh every day.
Laugh every day.
You can't go wrong.
I like that. Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. PLUGtalk podcast. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, shit.
Were you giving me 5 or were you going like this? Like, all right, to end it
I was
here.
trying to like send it, but like that came up like literally 5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Where he was like this.
I know, I'm going to. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got you on.
I was I brought up that last piece of advice thing like 5 seconds ago. I got it from Guru, bro, the guy who runs all the nightclubs.
No, I'm glad you asked. That's actually
The last
a really
piece
good
of
bit.
advice is actually dope. I zoomed in and shit.
That's sick.
Hold on. Can't hear shit.
Dude, that camera's dope. Is that a Sony?
Canon EOS M50 Mark II. They made the Mark I 2 years ago. They just released this one. If you need me to do any of your venues or anything, I do digital media photography, videography.
Do I just reach out to PLUGtalk?
Yeah,
Reach out to PLUGtalk. We get it done.
All right, cool. Yeah, I would love to do like tour videos like this.
Hell yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
Dude, we've been looking for people that want
Our biggest thing is doing content creation for influencers and people who sell their own services, like a comedian or a personal trainer. So we're trying to do something where we create content for them.
So if we were to do like a 30-second or a minute reel or maybe like a 3-minute YouTube video,
Yeah,
how much would you need for that?
Probably like $60, $70. So it's not much. It could take me like an hour, 2 hours.
And it'll come, like you said, it comes down to like, you know, what you guys kind of want out of it. You know,
Have you seen my tour videos? Hey, I'm Manny Garavito. I'm outside Red Bar. Something like that.
Dude,
But like updated.
But we can
do an intro and everything, and then like videos, people inside laughing.
Perfect.
I'll do something like that.
For sure, that'd be the 100%. He got some good. I mean, he put together. I had that one show, the Weekly Prov, where I was doing kind of based off business, and I started it over quarantine. And he started doing the creation when I went, and my cousin owns a food truck with his mom, and he put together like this clip of the pre-show, basically, like the whole journey, basically, like from us getting there, all the place, like had it doing all these switchbacks and like spinning, and I'm like, dude, like I dropped this, people are gonna watch my show every single time. It's gonna be like, where the hell were they? Like the thing that is really good is we know how to market, we know how to like, these are the spots people want to see, this is the environment people want to see. They want to see people laughing, drinking stuff out of a pineapple.
A really cool kept secret.
Oh, I love it. When I told some of the girls we went to your first one with, I go, this place Casa Tiki, like, we would love it. Like, we don't need a big crowd every time, and it's nice to just like, we can drink. We don't got people aren't in our face trying to sell us fucking drugs left and right. Like, this is
did you guys
nice.
get drugs from that guy last time?
We did.
You guys weren't here, right?
You know, he's talking to me.
Yeah, the big dude, right?
Yeah, he's talking to me.
I tried his stuff. He's legit, man. That shit
Really?
is
I might need it in the DM. I might need to get his number.
I know who's a really cool guy that you had. That was a good touch once I looked him up. The HBO guy, or Showtime. Cisco, man. I DM'd him, like, congratulated. He wrote me right back in like 5 minutes.
Is it the podcast?
I'd like to. It'd be great. Yeah. I think
I've done podcasts.
I love what you said about Richard Pryor. I love it. What do you feel? Richard Pryor is one of my favorite.
He's like, oh, yeah.
That's one of my dad's favorite things. But that's
Imagine a guy that had so many problems going up on stage and talking about it.
right.
one of the
It's
first
crazy
ones.
how life comes full circle. That's cool.
All these people influence people for generations.
And we probably so we're gonna see how it goes. I mean, ideally, we're gonna get this out next week. We gotta see how Tampa goes, how we feel after that, because it's like a whole other thing. And then we'll be sitting on 3 episodes, and it's just gonna be like, all right, let's feel it out. But I'm gonna give you like a big heads up on the release date that way, and then some of the material, whatever he sends me, I'll send you some stuff. You just want to have it, or even if you want to use it, like that's our other big thing. A lot of the content we shoot, and one of our big selling points is you guys use a lot of this, but like you want to run ads, repeat TikToks, you know, just be like, oh, you shot
send me any content or recreated stuff.
because then you own it forever. You constantly make that. Right. Use it however the fuck you want. Like, hold it hostage. That's a big problem. It's big media companies. You want to pay us, then we'll send you the SD card.
I mean, it's on
we'll
social
get in a
media.
fucking group chat.
All I gotta do is
you'll
copy
be standing
and paste
here.
the link.
We'll be like, man, what videos do you want? All right, airdrop it. Use it for the next 10 years. We don't care. We're happy to.
Yeah,
So,
of course. All right. Can I get you guys a drink?
Yeah, Dan, let's do it. Yeah.
Jared, what are you drinking? What do you have?
Yeah, let's make it one. Vodka bowl, man, actually. Yeah.
Hey, can I get a box?
Make it 2, Manny, for Jared. Yeah. I don't know. It's fire.
It's still recording.
Yeah. It got flown. We're good.
Dude, you guys fucking killed that, bro. Like, I was watching it in the camera. I was like, yo, this is